Welcome back to the Coaching Network. My name is Maria Medina. I am your business and networking coach. And we are back to our Let's Talk Business series where I got introduced to my guest today by a fellow contact in networking, as many of our introductions get done, and just being receptive to those introductions, listening what the other person does. And that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to learn from each other, see if we can be resources for each other. So, Aman, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hey guys, my name is Aman. I am a CRM matchmaker. I help companies find out a right CRM product based on their budget, their current technology stack, vision they have for their business for next 5, 10 years, the kind of team they got, and kind of tools and technologies and automations they want to participate in.
And I haven't asked you this because I actually used to work with CRMs back. I'm gonna date myself. Back when FileMaker was the thing, I used to help companies implement CRMs, and I helped them transition from FileMaker to Athena. And I had a lot of CRM experience. I was sort of the translator between the software developers and the end users. But how did you get into this industry?
Hmm. Let me find the right word. Accidental. I never wanted to be. It's a company which my brother and I started. He started before me. I joined him later on. Um, he's the one who got bitten up by the entrepreneurship bug way before me, and I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I'm surely an accidental entrepreneur who. But we primarily became an IT services company. We wanted to help fellow business people with IT technology, but we very soon realized there has to be a niche that we should cater to. Then we moved towards open source technology. We thought we can revolutionize the entire uh, open source technology and start giving this to people because why to spend more when there's open source technology available? We learned our lesson there as well, and we realized you probably can cater to a small set of audience, but if you want to cater to a bigger set of audience, those who can trust and rely on a technology, they would not go for a closed source technology, and that's sorry, open source technology. And that's where we started moving towards closed source technologies, which are branded billion-dollar companies who take care of data privacy pretty strong. And that's where we moved from entire software services company to a CRM or an ERP implementation company. So more of logical thinking than aesthetical thinking. That's where an IT services became a CRM implementation company.
I like your example of the open and closed source and reliability because this is a completely unrelated story. But my wife and I, at one point, we were traveling in Europe and we booked with just like this small airline. And of course, when it came time for a flight, it became bankrupt and we almost got stranded in a country that we didn't know. So reliability, as much as you don't want to cater to these big companies, a lot of the time you have to, especially if your business is reliant on that particular software or system on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And at least in my case, imagine you've been inserting data in a software for years and years and years, and one fine day the software doesn't work. You suddenly feel cheated. You suddenly feel that whole data that you put in for so many years is gone. So it's very important. And nowadays, if you look at big CRMs, even like Salesforce types, they haven't been so expensive. I mean, probably maintaining them is more expensive than buying them. So I think it's always smarter to look at bigger CRMs which give you better reliability, great technology, and they still would suit your budget. They would surely not go beyond your budget and make you spend like thousands and millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think it's an insurance policy. It's like having a backup on your computer, and so if the data does get lost, you have that backup, and that applies with the brand. Like that brand is backing up and ensuring that your data is safe. So let's get back to let's talk business. And why don't you tell me what your biggest success has been in your career so far?
I think there are two ways to look at success. Number one is monetary benefits. Um I think which is okay. I can give you some numbers. My numbers may be small for somebody, my numbers could be big for somebody. That's a different conversation. I think the success is when long back my sister-in-law, because brother and I started this business, my sister-in-law asked my brother that you forced him to get into business. And my brother very happily said, why don't you ask him and say, would he ever go back to job? And my answer was no. I think the success is when you look at how much can you contribute back to the society through your knowledge, through your whole business that you build. I love bringing employment to the country that I belong to or place I belong to. For example, if you look at a business which has 4 employees, it's not that you're giving employment to 4 employees, you're giving it to 4 families. And these 4 families are also interconnected to a lot of small and medium vendors, all the grocery stores, all the newspaper guy. So I think with these small companies like I run or somebody else would run, the biggest achievement is we are able to give back to the community. And money is okay. It stays. It sometimes stays, sometimes goes away. That's great. I can talk about revenues that I made, but probably the empowerment that I got for myself, that no matter where I do, hmm, I probably learned about myself a lot more than what I used to learn or what I used to know about myself before the entrepreneurship. I have more belief on myself. I know I can stand by good, bad days. I know I can give back to the community. So overall, I think success is more internal, and from an internal standpoint, the whole happiness of employment, the whole happiness of making people enjoy automation, and whole happiness of me empowering my own self is a great feeling.
I love that perspective. And I actually had a conversation earlier today with somebody where they asked me what made the shift into becoming a business owner. And I said I wanted to have an impact. So I like that your success is becoming a small business owner and owning your own business and having that impact and having that drive. So I really love that. With being a small business owner, we all know it's always a bumpy ride. It's a bit of roller coaster. Like you said, sometimes there's money, sometimes there isn't. What has been your greatest challenge so far, and how did you overcome it?
I think the greatest challenge was after a while start scaling up. I think you're the best employee of your business, no question. We all are. The question which arises the moment you sorry from a businessman standpoint, your biggest challenge is first to reach to profitability, which kind of proves that the business that you have built is profitable, is viable. By investing X amount of effort, Y amount of money, you can make Z amount of profits. The second big question that I see for a businessman once the first equation is solved is how to make it scalable, how to run it without you. And the only solution that I see to this problem is SOPs. That you have to sit down and create a lot of SOPs. You have to create a lot of easily commutable, easily trainable ways to make sure your customers are happy, ways to make sure your employees are replicate the same value, same dedication towards each customer that you serve. So I think problem is scalability. Answer is standard SOPs and processes.
And thanks for mentioning that. So, standard operating procedures for companies when they're small, they feel like, oh, I don't need that. I know what I'm doing. And a lot of them just rely on what's in here, on what's in their employees' heads, and they forget to write those SOPs. And the episode that we did recently with a professor from Babson was about process mapping. We focus more on the reliability of vendors and resources, but it's so important to also look internally and what is this process map? What does this look like for how am I getting clients? How am I onboarding clients? How am I taking care of clients? And SOPs for each of those stages so that if something does happen to you, somebody else can take over. Or if you're looking to get out of it and be more manager run and operated, you're having somebody that you can train and, hey, here are the SOPs that we need to follow. And the other aspect of that is updating them. And people often forget to update those SOPs. Am I right?
100%. I think SOPs and then updating the SOPs, redefining the SOPs. I mean, when you're a two employee company, the SOP would be different. The moment you become 10 employee company, SOP would be different. Uh, there are challenges. There is a pre-COVID and post-COVID era. So pre-COVID era had a different challenges of business, and post-COVID era has a different challenges of business. I never thought we would build a work from home policy, which means there has to be light in front of you. You should have a table and chair. You should not work out of your bedroom. So all those things that you have to build up. So you have to build those policies across.
Yeah, and I think people forget to do that, and it often happens with processes as well as it does with money. They are earning more, so they think, "Oh, I'm earning more, so I'll spend more," when it's justifying why. Why do you need to spend more? Like, where is the reasoning behind that? But they just think, "I'm earning more, I'll spend more," or "I'm earning less," and they don't adjust their spending. So a lot of people just forget the steps of adjustment as new information comes in, as with any system. And I'm a tech person, new information in, new output out, and that's how it always should be. So, if there was anything that you wish you knew before you started business ownership, what is that?
uh, I'll quote Jack Ma, Alibaba founders. No, it was probably Nvidia. I'm missing it. But he said, if I would knew how difficult this journey would be, I would have never started. So no, that's on a lighter way. I think if I would knew something, um, that probably would be how important for you to find no and say no. The biggest problem as an entrepreneur is we do not want to say no to customers. We do not want to say no to employees. We do not want to say no to anyone. That's not how it should work. I often teach people in sales, you're not here to find yes or close won. You're here to find early close lost because you can save your time then. Likewise, you need to find places where you can say no earlier than later. So if I would knew this earlier, I would have probably saved a lot of time of my own knocking the doors which will never open.
I love that. I love that analogy and the fact that a lot of people do struggle with saying no, especially when they're starting their business and they find themselves, oh, you want this product? Sure, let me find a way to provide that to you, even though it's out of my scope and I have no idea how I'm going to do that. Whereas instead, it's, and I feel like with me, networking has played a huge role because it allowed me to say no because I said, that's not a good fit for me, but I have a resource for you. Let me make that introduction to somebody that is going to be a good fit for you, and you're going to benefit more from working with them than from working with me. And it's not going to be a headache on my end because I'm not going to be scrambling to try and figure out how to fit your needs.
Exactly. And then you can do your relationships. You can ask the other person, hey, give me some margin because I'm giving you lead. Your This person will remember you because you gave them a lead. And then they would also give you more leads because now they're under the pressure of getting a lead from you. So it's like a whole economy of passing referrals and networking is when you start passing referrals. So if you it's very important to find your niche, focus on your niche, stick around to your niche, and each time when you see an opportunity, do jump on it, but do jump on it to pass it on to somebody else whose niche is that one.
And I think that all stems from a scarcity mentality on wanting to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way and not realizing that people out there aren't competitors. They're collaborators and they're a network, and they're a network that you can grow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was a great story of everything that I teach at the coaching network. If there's a resource out there for somebody that's struggling in their business, what's the resource that you would want to share with them?
Oh, resource from my stand would be I think from a resource standpoint, I do a lot of introspection. Um I feel your biggest boss as an entrepreneur should be you. You should not look at you're the best man. You should always look at yourself that you're also equally imperfect how your team is, and do a lot of introspection. If you are, if a customer is not getting closed, if you are not able to get the desired results that you wanted, instead of blaming external factors, blame your own self, on process, on things. So for me, the biggest resource would be keep on listening to a lot of people, keep on listening to a lot of podcasts who talks about sales, technology. uh, these days I learn from Instagram reels, and won't be surprised, in my internal team chat I send some very interesting Instagram reels to my team saying, let's implement this, let's try this one. And probably this way you can bring a lot of new changes, and change is the only constant thing. And it can surely improve your processes, and keep on questioning yourself. I think that's the only way I grow.
I never thought about being self critical as a resource. I love that. Taking the time to analyze what you're doing, what your team is doing, and how you can always keep growing and learning just from everything that's out there, but also from what you're going through and what you're experiencing. We're running out of time, and I always like to end so that people remember you in a different way with a fun fact. So, what's a fun fact you'd like to share about you?
Oh, fun fact, I have danced on a road, I have danced in a car, I have danced in a BART. I live in California, so BART is one of the local trains that we use. So, and I've danced in a plane. So I've danced in multiple locations, and I love dancing.
I love that. So, what type of music?
Jazz, salsa, Latin sometimes. I enjoy that. And I'm Indian, so Bollywood goes without saying.
Right. I wanted to go gear to the other way and say, hey, what variety of music? Well, I'm glad that you're able to share that. And I hope people connect with you on that level. And if they do want to reach out, whether it's for CRM networking or just to learn more about music from you, what is the best way for them to reach out?
The best would be email. You can always drop me an email on Aman, AMAN, at targetintegration.com. Or if you happen to Google my name, you would surely reach out. My marketing team makes sure our SEO works the best.
Amazing. Thank you again for your time. Thanks for being with us here today. And thank you, everybody, for watching.